Frieren Beyond Journey's End is a show that pits the past against the present. Frieren's new journey mirrors her past adventure with Himmel. Fern is presented as the next great magician, a passing of the torch moment from Frieren to her. And the motivations and goals of many of the characters are closely tied to a single event from their past. But Frieren doesn't just explore the past from a self-contained, thematic context. It goes far beyond that, encompassing the anime industry as a whole. Frieren's merits should need little stating. The show is considered to be one of the best anime in recent years, a title that's supported by its #1 ranking on my anime list. Much of the praise is targeted towards the animation, a result of the insane efforts of Madhouse Studio. The visuals are sleek and modern, and make the most of digital animation. Everything from Frieren's hair, to the magic, and the background art has a perfect, glossy finish to it. But episode 16 introduced us to one of the best characters, who not only had one of the most emotional stories, but also broke the artistic rules of the show. Welcome to my ongoing series called Moments of Brilliance. In this series, I break down the small creative decisions and details that make our favourite anime so impactful. This is my second video on Frieren, but my first analysing the show in this micro level of detail, and knowing how detailed the series is, it'll likely be the first of many. But before I begin, spoilers ahead. In episode 16, we're introduced to Old Man Voll. The Dwarven warrior is an old friend of Frieren's, and she wanted to visit him as he's approaching the end of his life. Like some of Frieren's best characters, Old Man Voll only appears in a single episode. To be more specific, he only appears in half an episode, as the show explores his emotional reason for protecting his village, and demonstrates Frieren's emotional growth up to this point, all within the span of 9 minutes. From a thematic standpoint, Old Man Voll is the embodiment of the past, not just when he's training Stark, but even when Himmel met him some decades before. His only reason for guarding the village is that his long-deceased wife asked him to. Centuries after her death, he remains on guard, even though he can barely remember her face. Frieren, being such a multi-layered series that makes full use of anime as a medium, didn't just present Old Man Voll's ties to the past through his story and the flashbacks. It also comes through in his character design. Old Man Voll doesn't look like any other character in the show. I don't just mean this in terms of his physical appearance or his clothes, but in the way he's drawn. When I first watched the episode, I couldn't put my finger on it, but there was something different about how this character looked. Everyone in the show, even the other elderly characters like Himmel and Heiter, followed the show's modern animation style. But Old Man Voll breaks that trend. An anime's art style is an essential part of its identity. The best shows make full use of line work, colour, character design, and cinematography to create a unique visual language, with the best being instantly recognisable from a single frame. It might not be my favourite series, but Demon Slayer does this exceptionally well with its bold character outlines, while Grimgar stands out with its watercolour backgrounds. Shows will occasionally break their own style for a moment to tell a joke or to reflect how a character is feeling, but it's incredibly rare for a show to break its own art style for a prolonged period of time, as this can cause an audience to detach from the previously established visual identity and language of the series. Yet, Frieren manages to pull it off, and the episode is even stronger for it. Thematically, Old Man Voll is the embodiment of the nostalgia and beauty of the past. Much of that thematic heavy lifting is done through the dialogue, but Frieren emphasised Old Man Voll's ties to the past through his art style. While the other characters have the simple shading and smoothness of digital animation, Old Man Voll's art style evokes a sense of nostalgia all by itself. I believe that Voll represents the old days of hand-drawn animation and colouring. Juxtaposing the sleek design of Frieren, Voll's skin and his clothes have an almost indescribable roughness and texture to them, and I don't mean his wrinkles and obvious signs of age. It's incredibly subtle, and someone who has never watched an older anime probably won't notice it. But for those of us who love the works of Studio Ghibli, and even older classics like Akira and Ghost in the Shell, Old Man Voll is intentionally designed to stoke that sense of nostalgia for past anime. Anime fans love to describe things as Ghibli-esque, but I believe Old Man Voll truly is. The studio behind classics like Spirited Away, and my personal favourite, From Up on Poppy Hill, is famous for its use of hand-drawn animation. The style has almost gone out of practice now, thanks to digital technology, but Studio Ghibli stands by the age-old technique, and it's what gives their films that unique visual style, the same style that Old Man Voll imitates. It's most apparent in this shot of Voll and Frieren walking side by side. While the latter is animated with incredible smoothness, Old Man Voll's skin and clothes have added depth thanks to the line work and shading. Again, you could argue that it's because he looks older, but Frieren has shown older characters before, like Himmel and Heiter towards the end of their lives, and their appearances don't share that same indescribable quality. The designs of the older Himmel, Heiter and Voll still use the thin line work that has become the visual identity of the show, but it's the way in which the lines are used, and the shading that accompanies them that makes Old Man Voll stand out against the rest of the cast. For Himmel and Heiter, their age is depicted using simple lines to represent wrinkles under the eyes, on the cheeks and around the mouth. But Old Man Voll's design takes things a step further. His line work captures the light in a more detailed way, creating a harsher contrast with the brighter sections, and making him look and feel different. It's a style that evokes characters like Yubaba in Spirited Away and Sophie in Howl's Moving Castle. Voll being designed with the deeper shading that imitates hand-drawn animation, even if a character wasn't physically hand-drawn, adds to the exploration of nostalgia and a longing for the past that the character personifies. His entire personality and motivations, as well as his narrative purpose within the show, are all tied to the themes of the past and the passing of time. Again, this is mostly achieved through the dialogue, but Old Man Voll's nostalgic art style adds another layer to his character arc, and the show would be weaker without it. Just as Old Man Voll keeps the memory of his wife alive, the art style used to depict the character keeps the beauty and nostalgia of hand-drawn animation alive. And it's pure brilliance. Normally this would be where I would end the video, but when discussing things like animation styles and techniques, there's an important caveat that I need to add. In making this video, I accept the possibility that I could be completely wrong. Unlike Hollywood filmmaking, the anime industry is far more guarded and secretive about its productions. You won't find hundreds of interviews with the staff at Madhouse breaking down the show's production, or dozens of behind-the-scenes featurettes. Trust me, I tried. Anime fans just aren't privy to that information. As a result, I could be entirely wrong about Old Man Voll being hand-drawn, or at least designed to look hand-drawn. He could be digitally rendered, and his design evoking that feeling could just be what I'm placing on the character, rather than what was intentionally being projected. But in saying that lies the beautiful thing about art. It truly is subjective, even when that can sometimes defy the objective. Even if Old Man Voll was drawn digitally, and wasn't intended to evoke Ghibli levels of nostalgia, the fact that I felt that when seeing the character and how it enhanced my viewing experience isn't any less meaningful. You might not have felt that way when watching the episode, and that's okay. You might have felt something completely different that I never would have thought of. That's the whole point of art, to elicit subjective emotions and impart unique experiences to everyone who views it. I know this may have been a bit of a pretentious run, but I hope that offers some insight into why I love making these videos so much, and why I love shows like Frieren that are packed full of these tiny artistic details, or, as I seem to be calling them, moments of brilliance. Now I actually am ending the video. I hope you enjoyed my reading of the scene, even if you might not agree with it. If you had a different experience with the episode, let me know in the comments below. I read through every single one because I love learning about other people's emotional interactions with the shows that I love. I also hope you're enjoying my Moments of Brilliance series. If you are, why not check out my recent entry on Makoto Shinkai and cinematography in anime, or my first video in the series on My Dress Up Darling. Either way, Thank you.